Shalom, call halal Yahweh by Shem Avashai by Shem Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered among the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, and to the Akwath that are listening and learning. To you I say Shalom. This is your brother MALCHAAMAH from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And we're just going to get into a little bit of a history lesson here and some prophecy of things that would happen. And basically, the Fair Use Act, UCC code, USC code, I believe 17, Fair Use Act, use information. I don't own any of this footage. This footage is being used for educational purposes and informational purposes only. And yeah, this is, I guess, a fan-based video. And I'm going to play it without sound so that just to be 100% sure that I don't, get hit with any copyright or anything like this. All right. So let's jump into it. This is footage from the series. I believe it was a Showtime series, Spartacus. All right. And what was interesting about this show is that Spartacus, unlike before, showed you a very, very good look at what Roman life was really like. What Grecian life was about in that part of the world. And it showed you a very diverse and mixed society in Rome, like it really was. Because, when you go back and watch a lot of the older movies from times past, you always got a vision or a picture of Grecian and Roman societies being only white people. And truth be said, so-called white people, pale-flesh people, were not the original inhabitants of Europe. They took over that land through Alexander of Macedonia, who indeed is an Edomite. Alexander can be traced back to Esau, Edom. As a matter of fact, now as you're looking on the screen, these are sons of Japhet. These are Japhetic, the real inhabitants of Europe. All right, that's probably how they ended up in the arena fighting to the death. And if I remember correctly, this was a father and son that was forced to fight. All right, and the father didn't want to kill his son, so he probably lost the fight on purpose to his son. He didn't want his son to die. But nevertheless, Esau, Edom took over the land of Europe, Europa, and then he painted his face and fabricated history, as if it was him. This is one of the reasons why people are so confused when it comes to history. All right, why they're so confused, because they've seen these images that are put in front of their faces, of white gladiators and white men. As you see people of color in the stands. Well, when you think about it, the same people that fill the arenas today, modern day, were the same people who filled the arenas, in the ancient world. All right, and you see how dominant Jacob is over Esau in the sports arena, especially when it comes to combat sports and physical sports like basketball, football, soccer, that sort of thing. And now Jacob's getting into hockey, and you best believe they're gonna dominate that as well. As a matter of fact, when you go into your history, hockey was created by Jake, just like rock and roll, blues, and all that stuff. The best music that's out there was created by Jake, and Esau is truly a culture vulture. All right, but let's get into some of this history. This is First Maccabees, the first chapter, and chapter 1, and it reads, "And it happened after Alexander the son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius the king of the Persian Medes, that he reigned the first in his stead, the first in his race, all right, over Greece, over the brown-skinned, Etruscan people, who make up what you call the Samoans, the Polynesians, the Hawaiians, etc., etc. Those were the people of that land, all right. And Esau, Edom, took that land over, all right. And because when you read in the Bible, when you're learning about biblical history, if you read in the King James minus the Apocrypha. You go from the Old Testament, the last, the Persian Medes being among the last kingdoms to that the Israelites were dealing with, and then all of a sudden you just skip by Greece and jump right to Rome, right? You jump right to Rome and dealing with the Romans, because the Romans were in rulership when Yahushua was on the scene, and when Yahushua had his ministry and then died and then rose again. Edomites were in rulership at that time. And listening to Esau Edom, the way he tells history today, you would think that they've been in rulership that entire time, because I had a comment on a comment board that talked about 8,000 years of white male domination. That's a total lie, a humongous lie. They have fallen. They were also slaves, but they rose up through Alexander, and you had about a foot. Matter of fact, let's get that in the scriptures. I believe that's in 2nd Ezra 4:28, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, either 7:28 or 4:28 in the book of Ezra. Yes, must be 7. Yeah, 7:28, and it reads, "For my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him, the disciples, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years." All right. So it was prophesied that from the time, so what history are we talking about? That 400 400-year Hellenization period of Jacob. All right. Because the Romans reverenced the Greek gods. As a matter of fact, they kept most of them. So and the Romans were very well aware that their forefathers were the Greeks. All right. But not the actual Greeks, the Edomite Greeks that were taken over through Alexander. So back to Maccabees. And as a matter of fact, I'm just going to jump right to the point, and I'm going to go to verse 7, 1 Maccabees 1:7 now. "So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, and their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth." All right, so evils were multiplied in the earth when the Edomites got dominion, when they came into rulership and adopted the Greek culture as their own and started calling themselves Greeks. And from Greeks, they became Romans. And then Rome fell at the hand of Israelites, the southern kingdom, so-called Negroes. All right, and that's when it went from being the pagan Roman Empire. You see Rome falling right there. The Edomite went down, and Jake rose up in his place. And that's pretty much what happened. And then Jake ruled. If you can just go into the book Nature with No Color Lines and see all the images of Jacob being the ruling class people all throughout Europe, Germany, Sweden, Scotland, Ireland, Britain, Czechoslovakia, all throughout Europe. Jake was ruling. Why? Because they took, as you see the Roman dying there, they took Rome down. All right, and then for about 1,000 years. That's the scripture in Revelation, the 12th chapter, when it says that the dragon was wounded, but yet did live, because the dragon didn't die. The dragon came back. He received that wound and he came back. That's in Malachi when it says they will rebuild. And they did that. And now we're to the end of that prophecy. As a matter of fact, let's get that. In Malachi, the 4th chapter. All right. And it reads, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves. And I will tread down the wicked, for ye shall be ashes under the soles of your feet. And the day that I shall do this, saith Yahweh of hosts. For remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I will command unto him at Horeb for all Israel, with statutes and judgments. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And that has already happened. That's why the truth is back in the world, you know, because of what happened with One West and Abba Bibbins and the split. All right. But let's read this right here. This is Malachi 1 and 4. All right. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 1. All right. And it reads, the burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith Yahweh. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith Yahweh, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And they did, because just like right here, this was the final finale when all the Edomites were being put to death. All right. I think this particular episode was called Kill 'Em All. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Edom, man. This is going to happen all over again. All right. But it says, whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. So the border of wickedness. All right. And then when you read about Esau's blessing, it said, by the sword they shall live. So this is through slaying, murdering, and conquering, and taking up other people's lands, property, wealth, resources. This is how Esau got dominion over the earth. All right. This was, but his promise was a temporary promise. So the truth be said, this so-called white domination that this guy left on the video, I can't even remember, man. There's so many videos I've done. I just remember reading it and going back and forth with him, and then the people, the subscribers then attacked him and lit him up with scripture, But nevertheless, they believe that because they lied and fabricated and whitewashed history. And through the scriptures, the truth has come out, and mainly because of the internet. As a matter of fact, let's grab because let's grab the scripture about the internet, which is prophesied that the internet would come. And this is one of the main ways that Esau has been made bare, because even now that, with this corona COVID thing that they got going on, you got doctors and medical professionals that are finally starting to speak up, and it's a shame and embarrassment to Esau Edom. But he can't control these airwaves, and the truth keeps coming out, exposing their lies. And just like, you can also find information in books that were written, going back hundreds of years ago, that are unedited and unrevised. It told you the history, because they never expected people of color, especially Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, to be able to read and go and learn this history. All right? They had controlled the narrative the same way they want to do now, because you have to remember, go back about 10 plus years ago, the media was owned by 96 different, entities. Now, all the media, every one of them is owned by 6 companies, which are all in cahoots together. That's why you'll see the same programming aired on all, channels. But this is Psalms 19. And it reads, the heavens declare the glory of God. The firmament show him his handiwork. So that's what you're seeing right now as you're watching this video. because this goes up into what they call the cloud. All right, and then from there it's dispersed to the four corners of the earth. This is the gospel that was spread to the four corners of the earth, and then the end would come, because Edomite Jesus, Cesare Borgia, white Jesus, and plantation colonialized Christianity, that's been spread for 500 years now, and the Lord never came, nor did the prophecies and the things that are happening. Just look at the world pandemics and hunger and all this other and world wars. It told you that the first and second woe would come, and behold, the third would come thereafter. So that third woe is the third war. The first and second woe has already come. All right. So now we're in the midst of what? The third woe. So it says, verse 2, day and night they utter speech, until the night showeth knowledge. All right. So, you turn the video when I'm sleeping, when I'm doing whatever, someone's watching a video getting edified. Or Edomite is watching a video, putting up a stupid comment, trying to debunk what's true. But, Jake is uplifted, and Esau is condemned, And it says, then it says, there is no speech nor language which their voice is not heard. And so that's the proof of that, is that I've seen my videos in German. I've seen them in Korean and Japanese. I've also seen them in Russian and Czechoslovakian. One of the brothers showed me how my videos were in all those different languages. Man, I was just like, wow, So the Israelite foreigners, the speckled birds that are scattered among the heathen, they're getting this message, man. All right. And if mine are, then I know that the men before me, theirs are too. All right. Verse 4, their lying is gone out through the earth, and their word to the end of the world. In them have he set a tabernacle for the sun. All right. Which is the bridegroom coming out of his chamber and rejoices as a strong man run the race. And that's talking about Yahushua coming back. It says his going forth is from the end of the earth. Salakia. His going forth is from the end of heaven, and his circuit, that's a circle, unto the ends of it. And there is nothing that is hid from the heat thereof. All right. So all things are being made manifest through this internet. Through this internet, all secrets in history and things that they try to cover up and hide are being made known. All right. There's no getting around it. As a matter of fact, let's close with this. It says, this is Job 28:11, and it reads, he bindeth the floods from overflowing, and the thing that is hid bringeth he forth to light. So this true history about what happened in Rome and the operations of the Israelites within Roman society, it's all been brought to light, mainly through the men of the Lord. And the main tool that was used was this internet. Just like it talks about, the unicorn and his horn, that's the feed horn. That's the feed horn that you see, when you're looking at the antenna, the satellite dish. All right. This is verse 24. Job 28 and 24. It says, for he looketh to the ends of the earth and seeth under the whole heaven. All right. And so the truth is spread to the whole, four corners of the earth. Nothing is hid. And the internet reacheth thereof, man. And the downfall of Esau, Edom, just like you're watching on the screen, these Romans being put to death, it's about to happen again. Call halal Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakak Wadash, Wa Abba Babal, Shalom.